Welcome back to my channel. Today I am introducing a new sketchbook. So with this video, I'm planning out and drawing the design on the cover of this new sketchbook, and then I'll also be filling in the very first page of this sketchbook as well. I apologize for the poor framing. This is the only clip that has this really bad framing. The rest of it is pretty lined up, so my apologies. But as you can see, I'm just going in and doing some sketches to kind of decide what I wanted to go with for my sketchbook cover. I was planning on doing something kind of whimsical, kind of celestial looking. I don't even know what to call it in the end, to be completely frank with you, but I figured that I would do something that allowed me to use lots of blues and purples. So I wanted to have her kind of hold a sword in some way. So that's kind of what I'm going with. I'm going to speed up a little bit through this process and then kind of slow it down when I've got some talking points. In the second sketch, I'm focusing more on long hair and how it can fill out the page. I was going to do a third sketch, but I decided more to expand on the very first sketch that I did because I actually really liked how it looked. So here I'm just kind of adding longer hair to it, and then I wanted to kind of see how well I can fill out that square space with it. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I decided to then go ahead and just make a larger thumbnail sketch where I could refine the details of the first and second sketch kind of combined, to kind of see what I wanted to add onto the front cover of my sketchbook here. I end up really liking how this sketch turned out. I'm overall pretty pleased with it. So it's just, yeah, I wanted to kind of do something a little celestial, kind of have a chance to show off color. So I'm keeping that in mind when doing my sketch. And that's kind of the gist of it. I wanted her to kind of be looking at the hilt of her sword, like the very end of it. So that's where I have the eye kind of lined up in my head. And then I wanted the hair to be kind of whimsy and poofy. So I'm trying my best to kind of get that to kind of cover up the like the space that I'm allowing myself here. And I end up really enjoying the result. I decided to kind of have her crouched down so that she fits better within the frame of the cover, and then just kind of planning out a little bit of the shading. Probably just going to have the outfit be black with this one, and just kind of a simple outfit, nothing too fancy here, but I think that the simplicity of the outfit kind of helps to contrast well with the rest of the sketch. So now that I am ready to start, I decided to go in with my Arrtx acrylic markers because I feel like the texture of these markers, it like, because the brush tip is so smooth, it doesn't get caught on the texture of the cover and cause splattering. The last time I colored a cover, I used my grabby acrylic markers, and those have those plastic nibs that are super hard. And when I used that, all it did was get caught in like the little dimples of the material, and it just caused a ton of paint splattering. So these markers do not do that. They're smooth as butter on this type of material, and it really allowed me to get what I wanted. I do still have to do a few coats with a few colors, but overall it's like not really a big deal, because like the coverage is still pretty nice, and just with how smooth it feels on it, I feel like there's like less room for mistakes and less room for overall mess when you go in with these types of markers rather than the stiff-tipped acrylic markers that are out there on the market. I don't know. I love my Arrtx markers, and I will vouch for them because they're fantastic. I use them constantly, and that's also what I'm going to be using to color the first page of my sketchbook here. Sorry I keep flipping back and forth. I made the mistake of not taking a picture of my sketch and just kind of going with it, and now I have to go back and forth before, like, while I'm trying to get the base of the sketch kind of laid down, before I have it actually, like, fully laid down, you know? So there's gonna be a few more times where I have to keep opening the book, but thankfully the alignment on this footage is a lot better and it's not so funky looking. So, you know, if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Now that the sketch is done, we're going to go ahead and lay down the first set of colors here. As I mentioned, some of these colors do need a second coat, but it's mainly due to the material of the sketchbook. The colors kind of pool into the like dimples of the material, and because of that they appear a little bit more transparent in some spots, so I just end up having to do a second coat in some areas. But it's honestly like not a big deal because I feel like I was able to layer colors effectively enough to get the coverage that I wanted. But I'm just overall going in and just coloring in the areas that need skin tone at this time, and then I'll go back over it with a little bit more of a blushy tone to add some warmer effects to the piece. And then my favorite part, of course, is when I actually start working on the hair. I feel like it just really pulls the piece together. The hair itself just pulls it together. Of course, I end up liking the hair on the sketch more than I like the hair on the cover, but you know, it is what it is. It happens. It's just one of those things. I also got a brand new art desk recently, and I'm excited to be able to record in a new area, one that's more dedicated to my art and one that's more like less cluttered, I suppose you could say. Like, I'm recording on my computer desk, it just gets very cluttered sometimes. So I'm excited to actually have a good recording space and be able to hopefully provide some higher quality recordings for you. But here I am, just going in and starting on the hair. I'm just basically going in with that blue and then taking the purple and feathering it out with that, so that I'm kind of putting down two tones at once. I think it leaves like a nice gradient effect of the colors and allows them to blend pretty smoothly. Due to the dry time of these markers on this particular material, I feel like I was able to kind of capture a lot of the effect that I was looking for. And I really end up liking the end result quite a bit. I'm basically just going in with different tones of pinks, purples, and blues to kind of capture what I wanted here, and using the wetness of each color and the dry time to spread out those colors with the other colors. That way it kind of provides that gradient that I'm looking for, like I mentioned. And just in trying my best to get the white lines covered. The white lines don't particularly go away all the way because I did not like outline the piece particularly. But I'm like totally okay with how that looks. And then I ended up just doing a little bit of outlining on the skin with a pink color, and then coloring in the little leotard that she's wearing. I decided to make the hilt of the sword a little bit of like a light brown, because it was kind of close to gold, but I didn't necessarily have like a gold color. And then I went ahead and just used yellow and the wetness of the brown to kind of make it shine. And then I'm going in with gray and white to do the details on the sword itself. I decided like a red background, like just a solid red background, would contrast really well with the drawing, so I went ahead and just did that. I think it works out really well. I only did one coat of red on this, so I did not do any others, but I honestly really like how the red ended up turning out on the piece, and it also gave me a chance to kind of shape the face a little more, because in my original sketch the face was kind of like widened out longer than I wanted it to be, especially around like the mouth area. So I went ahead and did that. And then just wrote sketchbook number 2 on here. And yeah, that's, what it is. I went in with the black pen and just did like a quick outline of the skin details and like the finger details itself. But I didn't want to do it over the whole piece. But I ended up really liking how it turns out. So this is the finished sketchbook cover. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with it. I went ahead and just added a couple more details to it off camera. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. My last sketchbook cover, I did like a portrait of myself on it, and I just wasn't very happy with how it turned out. So let's go ahead and start on the very first page of this sketchbook. I decided that I'm going to do a RuneScape drawing. I've been playing a ton of RuneScape lately. So that's, what I end up doing with this particular first piece. I've been playing RuneScape since 2003. I distinctively remember the very first day when my best friend at the time told me to look up RuneScape. I didn't know that he said RuneScape, so I was looking up RuneScape with an M, and only found like weird realtor pages. So I was honestly so confused on what the hell he was talking about. But I was in 3rd grade, and it was honestly like one of the better things that I've gotten into at the time. Because at that time I was playing a lot of like Flash games on Newgrounds and playing some games on some other websites like that. And this was before YouTube, so we didn't have YouTube to watch or anything. And I was heavily into Teen Titans at the time. I needed some other things to kind of put my efforts into, and I got into RuneScape. I remember the very first time that I fell for a RuneScape scam and got my account hacked and stolen from me. And it was one of those like, oh, if you type your password into the chat, it'll be all asterisks, and I fell for it. I typed my password into the chat and I was immediately logged out of my account. I'm pretty sure a mod logged me out, or they just hacked me right then and there, but I was never able to get back into my original account, so I quickly made a new one. And my new account that I made at that time is actually the one that I still have active on RuneScape 3. So that one has like a 20-year veteran cape or something like that on there, or it's almost to the 20-year veteran cape. And I don't play RuneScape 3, but I still have the account just so that I have that, nostalgia of it. But recently I've been playing a ton of old school RuneScape and getting back into the old school RuneScape kind of lifestyle, I guess you could say. Especially with mobile, it makes it so much easier to grind during the day, especially like when I'm at work. My particular job allows us to be on our phones all day because of what we do. I just pick orders all day and push around a cart, so I just set my phone up on my cart and play RuneScape on my phone, and it's just been a lot of fun getting back into the grind. I started fresh on a new account about a month ago now, and it's just been really fun for me to get back into it. It's been very nostalgic, going back and doing quests and actually like watching YouTube content. Like RuneScape content creators are honestly killing the game right now, and it's so fun watching RuneScape content creators. Like Jimmy is one of my favorite ones. I love his videos and I watch them all the time. I'm probably like a good chunk of his by release content because at work that's all I would watch is his by release content. It took up a whole 12-hour shift for me. And Hanini is another one that I watch all the time. I love her content. She's so funny. And now that I'm going into RuneScape with like more of an understanding of how the game works. I'm actually like getting stuff done in the game that actually matters. I'm not just standing there chopping wood all day. I'm doing quests. I'm trying to get a fire cape. I'm learning how to do PVM, and I'm going at it with more of an understanding of the game overall rather than just like my third grade appreciation of the game. And it's just been a lot more fun for me this time around. I was still playing on my RuneScape 3 account up until last year, and there's no like reward. You know, you stand by the Grand Exchange and you have all of these like free XP things given to you, like the lamps from the treasure chests, and the dummies. Oh my god, the dummies make it so easy to just level up. Like, it just doesn't feel like there's much reward to it. And so going back into old school RuneScape, I can really appreciate the grind and the reward of actually earning what you do. I'm not on an Iron Man account because I don't got time for an Iron Man account. Let's just be honest. But the amount of reward you feel in old school RuneScape versus RuneScape 3 is honestly crazy that it's the same company and that it's basically two completely opposite games from each other. So my appreciation for old school has like gone up tremendously since looking at it from like a different view and getting into like all these new content creators of the game itself and just being able to appreciate that. I've just been having a lot of fun with it. I've been focusing on leveling my magic. So right now my character is just wearing those Zamorak priest robes. I think it's the Zamorak priest robes. I don't remember the name. And then just a standard blue hat. And then I have a fire staff. I know that the magic does not look like this in the game. It's not as extravagant, but I gotta make my art look cool somehow with what I'm provided in my imagination. So I just feel like it ends up looking okay. And it captures like what I'm trying to capture from RuneScape. I'm just really enjoying the grind lately, and it's just been a lot of fun. If you haven't played old school RuneScape and you're just like unsure about it, or the graphics turn you off, honestly, like there's so many plugins with RuneLite that make RuneScape, like old school RuneScape, honestly like so much more playable. You've got like the quest guide that basically holds your hand like a little baby boy while you go through every single quest. But some of the quests are so tedious that you would have to look up quest guides anyways. So having the quest guide makes it so much easier and so much bearable to go through some of those longer quests, because it tells you exactly what you need before you even start, so that you're not running around the entire map completely clueless on what you're doing. It tells you who to talk to. It tells you where to go. Which some people might not like that, but for me personally, getting some of these quests done and getting the rewards from the quests, it makes it so much more worth it for me. Because I don't have time. I have a child. I don't have time to sit there and try and figure out these quests the way that old people, like you had to back in the day. And that's why I never did quests back then. I found them too complicated for my tiny little pea brain. So, yeah. Anyways, onto the art. I am essentially just going in and blending with these colors, using the wetness of the paint before it dries to blend out the colors that I want here. The glow of the fire is going to be a big part of the overall piece, so I wanted to ensure that I allowed for yellow or orange tones to mix with the colors that I was laying down. I really just overall am super happy with how this first page ends up looking. I wanted it to show off my likes and interests at the current time, and that's why I chose to do RuneScape piece. Just overall, I'm super happy with how this first piece ends up turning out. I really, really like how the glow of the firebolt ends up looking on my character and how it lights up the page. I am swatching on the left side, but I end up covering everything with black and completely draining my acrylic markers of their entire life force with this piece. But I'm getting a new set. I decided that I was just gonna, I was sent these sets, but I decided that I was going to just invest the money and buy both the 60A and the 60B set off of Amazon here in a couple of days to fulfill my acrylic marker needs, because I've used them so much that they are naturally dying on their own, and I cannot have that at this moment. My artistic needs require these markers, and I love them so much. So here I am just filling in the black. A lot of marker enthusiasts are probably going to hate me for how much I've drained these markers, but it's worth it in the end for me. Like, I love the contrast of the character versus the black of the background and how that ends up looking. And I honestly really like how it also makes the cape look, because like the cape has like black trim on it, or at least I think it does, and that's how I drew it. But it makes the cape almost look like it's disappearing into the darkness of the piece. And I end up really, really enjoying how that looks. You can see where my markers kind of begin to struggle, and I was honestly getting worried that I wasn't going to have enough ink to fulfill what I was trying to do here. So I'm switching back and forth between my my two black acrylic markers that I have. Luckily, they're the same tone of black. There's no like red sheen to one and green sheen to the other. So it's still providing me the same coverage that I was looking for without having to like finesse the shade. But man, these colors are fighting. The markers are fighting for their damn life to provide me any type of coverage at this point. And it's just because I've used these markers so incredibly much, and there's a couple pieces in my other sketchbook that have completely black backgrounds. So it was really just waiting. It was a waiting game on when these markers would actually start to dry out on me. They've lasted me through quite a few big pieces, so I can't really complain on that front. They've provided me a lot of work. They've put in the work. They can rest after this. It's just a lot of black coverage on here, but I really like this piece. I end up really enjoying how it's like a staple piece of my personality and my likes and interests at this current time. And I feel like it really shows off a little bit of my personality. And then I just finish covering what I can. Like I said, at this point, the markers are screaming, and I have to shake the shakeable marker a lot, trying to get coats down, but it ends up covering, so I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it one bit. And then I'm just going in and adding like some particle effects on the fire with the red, the yellow, and the orange. I feel like it really lights up the piece, and I like how it ends up turning out, honestly. I really like the firebolt. I know the firebolt does not look like that. Nothing looks like this in old school RuneScape. So it was just fun. It's an artistic approach, so it's not meant to be taken seriously by RuneScape players, so please don't nab on it. And then I'm just going in with my white and adding some stars and some little constellation effects to the piece. Constellations have, I don't think, anything to do with RuneScape, but I think it adds a nice touch. And then, I'm just kind of filling all of this in, and I just like how it looks. I think the page is very pretty and captures what I was trying to capture. I wanted to leave the original sketches for the cover art visible, because it was still something that was important to what I was doing, and I also had no reason to leave that entire left side completely black, so I feel like that would have looked weird. I would not have known what to fill it with, so I just left those in there and colored around them. but I think it looks more like an actual sketchbook spread this way. But yeah, and then I'm just going in with my fine liner and just adding some quick little details around the face, some wrinkles in the clothing and things like that. And then I go over with my white and just kind of add like some floaty white streaks. I think they kind of make the page look a little messy in the end, but overall, I can't complain. I'm pretty happy with the overall result of it. I don't know. I'm just happy with it. If you enjoy these types of videos and you want to see more, I invite you to subscribe if you're new. I make art videos where I share my process and I ramble about whatever is going on. I do have a Discord linked down below where you're welcome to join and share your art and chat with other artists. It's not a very serious Discord. We just chit-chat every once in a while and share some art. It's pretty cool. If you have any suggestions on what I should draw next or any art challenges I should do, go ahead and comment them down below and I might do them. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.